Ah, ah, done it again. We've got some. Yeah, there you go. Ah. It's going to be one of those evenings, I can tell you. I've already chucked myself out of the studio 3 times. Welcome, it's the Pro Synth Network live show, episode 330. I think it's because I'm excited. I'm very excited. Episode 330. It is Friday, the 31st of July. Tomorrow is August, and the year is just flying by. But we are back again. We've got some stuff to talk about, hopefully, fingers crossed. And we can talk about it at length because there's not a huge amount out there. But stay tuned, especially if you want to know more about what Isla Electronics are up to. We've been very lucky this week to get some exclusive bits for you, including if you are planning to maybe buy something from Isla Electronics this weekend, we might be able to help you in that regard. So do stay tuned because we've got some fun stuff to talk about, some very interesting stuff, and a massive thank you, of course, to the wonderful, gorgeous, I want to have his babies, Brad Holland, over at Isla Electronics, who has been so generous and gracious with us, allowing us to do a bunch of things today, which up until sort of this morning weren't happening, and now they are. So please stay tuned because there's some very cool stuff coming up that we can go through. But before we do that, we need to get rid of all the really boring stuff first, which is, me telling you to, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, share the link around to your friends and your family or anyone else that you think might be interested in watching this show. We're here every Friday night between 7 and 9 UK time, that is. And please do all of those things that it says on the screen. If you want to comment, of course, depending on the platform, hello to our we had 3 Twitch viewers last week, so hello to all 3 of you.
Wow.
Welcome. And also you can comment on Twitch, you can comment on Facebook, you can comment, of course, where the bulk of the people sit around and watch this show, and that is on YouTube. So you can comment in the comment section. If you want to ask us a question, you stick a big capital Q at the beginning so we can see it, and also stick a question mark on the end because that apparently helps the system put it into a special question pool from which we shall pull during the show, if they're, of course, relevant. Please do comment and give us a subscribe. And can I also remind you that if you're watching on catch-up on a mobile device on YouTube, there is a button called Hype. And apparently that scores us some points if you press that button. And that helps us boost the rankings, so to speak. Please do that stuff. That would be cool. And just do all of those things because it does help the channel. What does also help the channel is if you can help us in a financial sense to help us pay for all of this stuff. Patreon is definitely the best way to do that. If you go to prosynthnetwork.com/Patreon, you can go to our Patreon page and subscribe for a minimum $2 a month, and for those $2 a month you get access to all of the content. There's no tiers or anything, it's just a single straightforward tier. You get access to patches for your software and hardware synthesizers, exclusive video content, clipped video content, ad-free video content, all sorts of stuff on there. So it's a really good way of helping to keep us going, and of course fill your synthesizers with great sounds and your eyes and your ears with wonderful music and other features that we've had on the show as well. You can also be a YouTube channel member, gets you all of that same stuff for exactly the same price. So either way, whichever suits you best. I think Patreon is better for us, I'll be up front. They take a little less of your money for their purposes than YouTube do. Do that and you get free stuff, and you can unsubscribe and resubscribe as often as you like. So if you're having a tough few months, bin us off, please do. And then when you're happy to come back again, come back. It's all good. So that's that. And we've also got our merchandise, which I'm not wearing today. I'm wearing something I got for my little birthday, representing my football club. But you can buy other merchandise, including T-shirts, hoodies, water bottles, placemats, all sorts of stuff. With the logo on, and we're able to take a few pennies off of each sale. ProSynthNetwork.com/merch will get you to the website. Please buy your winter outfits. That's what they do this time of year, isn't it? Because I was shopping for some holiday clothes, and it's all winter stuff now. I don't get it. So yeah, please do go and buy some stuff, and you'll feel warm and fuzzy both on the inside and the outside as well. We've also got a Discord server. ProSynthNetwork.com/Discord, and I've just set up a new channel there actually, because we've started this feature where we're getting you guys to help us fill the time on the show by submitting your own compositions. And I keep saying to people, send it in an email or whatever. I thought, why don't I just stick it in the Discord server? So there's a channel now for viewers' music, and you can go and put your video submissions with your music on. Make sure there's nothing copyrighted in there, and submit it in the Discord channel. Or you can still send it through to me at rob@prosynthnetwork.com, whichever you find. But I thought the Discord would be a nice place to congregate and do all of that stuff. Talking of things social online, of course, we are across most of the platforms. There they all are. The handle is @ProSynthNetwork. So if you use any of those, please do follow us, add us, tickle our fancies, whatever it is that you do over there. And @ProSynthNetwork is the handle. That's all that stuff out of the way. We've got more than 2 people tonight, which is good. So we'll have a crowd. We'll have plenty to talk about. Let's bring in one of the missing miscreants from last week. He had a good excuse. I'll give him that much. Scott McAuley.
Hello.
I didn't see your sick note last week.
No, I did let you know though. I did let you know.
Did you?
Yeah, I've got evidence on Facebook Messenger.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's
and
I apologise.
A customer / friend now, really, to be honest with you. He was over from California, so
that's it. Yeah,
he was over doing some work commitments he had down south, and then he came up here on the Friday, and we just done a bit of a Highland tour. Took him away up to the Glenfinnan Viaduct and Glencoe. We even made him climb Wallace Monument, which is a beast of a thing to climb, but it's cracking views from the top. Yeah, so we've done that in the Kelpies and the Falkirk Wheel and things. We got cracking weather as well. It was really, really good.
Yeah, good
so
stuff.
Yeah, he was well and truly Highlanded out by the time he went home again. So he's back in California now. But yeah, it was good. It was good to see him. I seen him in November. He was here last November. He was just over for a night. He came up by, and then he stopped in by again for a couple of nights this time. So it was good to see him again.
Cool. Excellent stuff. Busy otherwise?
Yeah, just on projects that I can't really mention at the moment again. But I've still not been back to the prologue yet. But yeah, I've kind of been taken up with these other projects. But it's good. As long as I'm busy, that's the main thing.
And you have been because you appeared on Ian Dixon's channel just the other day.
That's right. Yeah. I done that interview on Tuesday. I didn't dodge the show on Friday just to go, just to clarify.
I know. It's okay. I'll take the black mark out of the book. No, it was an interesting little chat. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, he's very good at the interviews, Ian. Actually, he keeps Peter James Stevens said the same. It was he kind of keeps the conversation flowing quite easily. So it was good. It was good.
He's a good lad. Yeah, I've done a couple over there. It's good fun to do.
Yeah.
Fun. Good. Well, glad to have you back.
Yeah, good to be back.
Welcome back. I almost just removed myself from. I don't know what I'm doing today. There's something. I think it's the heat. Kent's disappeared again. I don't know what he's doing. So we'll bring in Andrew. Hello. And you're muted.
It couldn't go any better than this, could it?
Honestly,
really?
It can only improve. I think it can only improve. How are you?
I'm okay. I've had another week of trying to deal with my neck, so I'm kind of doing that the whole time. But otherwise, good. sorting out things for the house which we've needed to for a long time, and we're that close now to signing the dirty deal, which is great. It's a real sort of you know how it goes with accommodation and such. You just kind of, until it's signed, you're kind of twitchy, but that's close, which is good. More clearing out. There's so much space in here at the moment, even though I've moved this up because I'm doing some sound design. So that's an Ovation Supernova, and the M8X is switched off over there. We got things at the back there. We've got the command stations at the back, and lots of software out at the moment that I'm doing either beta for or sound banks for. It's an interesting time. There's a lot going on.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Well,
I don't know where Kent's gone. He's disappeared.
His computer's caught fire.
Yeah, he got in on time, which was, is a good thing.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared because his camera froze, and he came back and he disappeared again. Very strange. Maybe we'll see him again. Maybe we won't. Who knows? But anyway, welcome one and all, and I need to say a big thank you, of course, to the wonderful Steve Elbows, who is in the chat moderating. So it's all good, and we've got a single question in at the moment. We'll answer that at the appropriate time, so no need to keep posting. We've seen it; it's there, it's in the bucket. But yes, welcome. We've got some very cool things to talk about. Maybe we'll save those till a little bit later, because we don't want to shoot our bolt too soon, as they say. And then everybody will just go away for the rest of the night and watch the whole show. We need to keep people engaged and interested. So I don't know where we should start. I'll wait for Kent to come back to do that one, because he has got some skin in the game there. But one thing we didn't talk about last week, well, we kind of sort of touched upon it as we got to the end because we were sort of running out of time, was let me just what's going on here. This is all gone Pete Tong. Right, so it was this thing from Synth, you might remember, are those people that built that huge modular system for that German fella. What's his name? I forget now. Anyway, they built that big thing for hands, and they've gone and done something else that's custom, but this time it's custom for another electronic music legend, and that is Jean-Michel Jarre. These pictures courtesy of our friend Tom over at Synth Anatomy. This is the Jarre Lab 1, which is kind of an adaptation of something they'd done before. But they've improved upon it and taken, obviously, Mr. Jarre's specifications into account. This, I am told, uses a Korg log engine for the oscillator section, but then everything else is kind of custom built. And of course, Synth are kind of famous for their kind of, what do they call it, steampunk looks to their instruments. I mean, that does look, albeit completely impractical for most people's studios, it does look the dog's leathery bits. There were some other pictures. Let's see if we can get hold of those by doing that. And how do I get rid of this picture here?
I don't know.
There we go. We do that. That's what we do. There's some side-on stuff here. There we go. There's another one. This is that's the guy from Synth who builds this stuff. So it's kind of got this very odd, kind of slopey, not slopey thing, and there's a joystick and stuff. But yeah, it looks like a very cool thing. It's got it's 4-voice polyphonic, 2 analog oscillators per voice, single VCF, VCA, LFOs, and a multi-effects modulation, delay, and reverbs, plus a stereo analog saturation stage, a 3-band EQ, and a mixer with an insert for external effects. It also has a sequencer and multimode arpeggiator. But yeah, apparently the oscillators on this are from a Korg log synth, which I thought was interesting. And that's what's going on. He's got his clothes off. He's got his pants down. Look at that. That's what's going on inside. But yeah, an interesting thing. I mean, we'll probably never see one of these for sale. And there's no demos of this. This video here isn't the actual instrument that Jean-Michel Jarre is getting. so I can't really play you a demo of it. But what do you reckon?
Can I go on it? Because I know you've got skin in this game in that you do a lot of stuff with corgi stuff, Scott. But I just wanted to point out that the look of that thing is every reason that I got into synthesis in the first place. I almost said synthesis there. It's every reason I got into it. Knobs and buttons and dials and VU meters and great big things. It's gorgeous. I'd have it in the studio in a heartbeat. I kind of ache for one of these. I really do.
I thought you were about to burst into a Disney song there and say, knobs and dials and sliders. Oh my!
I can if you like.
Please don't.
Got a new mic.
I love the look of these Synth Teslas. These big dials that they use are really cool looking things. It's just, they really do look the part. Obviously, we can't hear how it sounds, but I've got no doubt that it will sound fantastic. And to be fair, the log oscillators are nice. They're pretty beefy, so it's just a shame they didn't include the multi-engine one. I could have given them some oscillators.
The sound demo video that there is it does sound lush. You know, I'm not sure it's going to be that far different from the sound.
Probably not. Yeah.
And you know, the thing you can tell about this kind of tech is with really expensive hypercars, they've gone back to putting in this kind of analog look of dials and things, right? Because it makes it look expensive. It makes it look handcrafted. That's exactly what this looks like. I just think it's gorgeous. Have a listen to the video. Have a listen. It's some gorgeous sounds in there. Gorgeous.
I don't like it.
Do you not?
I don't like the look of it. It doesn't. It doesn't do anything for me aesthetically. I mean, yeah, I like big, knobs and dials. I can see the appeal there, but no, I don't know. There's just something about this. I'm sure it sounds absolutely amazing, but
is it because it doesn't have a D and an X and a 7?
No, it's got nothing to do with that. And red is a nice colour. I like red, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's just something about this. It doesn't. It kind of looks. I don't know. There's just something about it I'm not 100% sure about.
It is steampunk.
I'm sure it's absolutely lovely. I really am, but. And I don't think I'm sure that if there's enough demand, that they might do a ordinary person's version of it.
Well, aren't they talking about doing something in 27, 28?
Yeah, consumer version. Yeah, so
yeah,
we'll see.
Whether or not
they did that with the Hans Zimmer one, didn't they? They've released a consumer version of that.
Yeah,
albeit in a slightly cut down version. But yeah, it's nice. Look, it's new and ingenious and unique. And
it looks very bespoke. It definitely looks very bespoke. I like it. I do like the look.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. I'm kind of with you on the sort of staged front faces. I'm not too sure about that. If it was all one panel, it would probably make for better viewing, if you like.
Yeah.
But there must be a reason why they've done that. Maybe it was Jar himself asked it to be like that. But
I'm sure that if it was custom built for him, he probably did have some. I want it like this. So anyway, looks like somebody's managed to change their cameras.
Yeah.
What's going on?
On a U-green one now.
Wow.
Anybody want to buy a Mac Studio? One careful owner.
Careful.
Hang on. Your Mac Studio's at Matt's, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll sell that one as well.
But you've got another one.
Yeah, I'm going to buy a clock.
And you've killed it.
I haven't killed it. What it is, we've had a long conversation about this. There is something in this studio.
You?
No, other than me, that is making this, whichever Mac Studio you plug into it, go absolutely bat crazy.
So it's something connected.
Or kelpies, as we say down here.
Well.
So,
at least you're here. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Ken.
I'm all right. While I'm here for the next
until it freezes again,
3 or 4 minutes before the camera goes.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm some awful pose. It'd be just like,
Yeah.
or something like that. So yes, all good. Thank you.
Good.
Everybody good?
Yes. Yeah. All,
Good.
all warm as we.
Yeah,
are.
it's a bit toasty in here, I must admit.
Sticky. Yeah.
Mm.
It was horrible the other night, wasn't it? Not last night, the night before. It was really it didn't get below 20 something. Certainly here it didn't overnight, and it was just bleh. You wake up every hour and you sort of like
Well,
drenched.
weirdly, it rained here last night. And caught us all out because of all the stuff that was in the garden. Going, it's
God.
not going to rain, and it did. So
Yeah, it rained in Norwich, which is like 30 something miles away, but it didn't rain here.
very selective.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh well. Anyway, have you? I don't know if you've been able to watch while we've been talking about it, but have you got any thoughts on this thing? The Jean-Michel Jarre custom synthesizer from Synth.
Looks expensive.
Looks, I have to say, it does from the side. It has a kind of anaglyph look to it.
It does kind of, doesn't it? But
Yeah,
it
it
also looks
does.
like a fruit machine at the same time.
It does, yeah. I'm not.
I imagine that's quite a nice little bit of kit, actually.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
there we go.
that seems to be the style now, to go for these big dials.
Yeah.
Hans went for it with that modular he had
Yeah.
commissioned for him, and all this is all very I don't know, 1930s sci-fi film looking
Yes.
sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's brilliant, isn't it? It's
Oh
damn
yeah,
dare.
absolutely, yeah.
Not my thing.
It's
I
got
need
blue
membranes.
LEDs, so Matt's not going to buy it.
Yeah.
So that's off his list. No.
Oh well. Anyway, so if you are interested in one of those, then drop over to the Synth. Well, actually, there's nothing on the Synth website about this. Go and see synthanatomy.com, and you can read the article over there. Thank you, Tom, for handling that for us. And a message for you from Matt Kent.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of the message I normally get from him, actually. So.
Yes, indeed. Good stuff. So yeah, there's that. So before we lose Kent again, I wanted to get your thoughts on this, if there are any thoughts to be had. So Kent has been our resident
Twat.
Rowley expert.
Oh yes, there's
yes,
that as well.
And you might remember a few years ago that Rowley kind of went out of business in a big way. And then they came back, and everyone was like, "This is how long will it take?" Well, it took about this long, because according to the Sunday Times, and thank you to Steve Elbows for bringing this to my attention, they are fighting to avoid a second collapse. This was reported a few weeks ago, so I don't know where things stand now. But yes, the people are owed money are banging on doors, and it looks like Roland Lamb has been removed as a director. He is,
That
of course,
happened in
the row
April.
in Rowley. Yeah, and it's all starting to go a little bit south again, which makes you wonder. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, why do they keep getting it so wrong when other companies have kind of jumped on this MPE multi-dimensional controller technology and done a far better, more stable job? Is it just simply the
They
organisation?
haven't done enough. They haven't done
enough.
enough. What it is
And they-
is
Yeah.
they come up with an idea that was different and new and was catching everybody's imagination, and that worked very, very well. Yes, there was a lot of hokey pokey going on early on, so I'd call it something else, but it's a pro show. And they go, oh well, we'll bring out the Rise 2, after the Rise, which was after the Seaboard, which was weird. That's the Seaboard they're using all the way through the articles, a machine they don't make anymore and haven't done for years. And it's but it was a smaller, more affordable version of the big girl, which was I think $5,000, and strangely harder to play. So then the blocks came out. Now by this point, you have rinsed that idea, right? So they went on to let's have the same kind of thing, but we'll just make the keys light up, but you can't have the slidey bits and all the rest of it. Then they come up with the sort of like the pound shop version of the D-beam, thing as well, right? So they've done that,
Sure.
right? Now, all the time they're doing this, they then, like most of the time, they'll come out with a product and they will sit on that thing. They'll sit on their laurels and watch the money coming in, right? Which will be a nice peak, and then it just will drop off, like it does it with most of these type of products. And they sat there and going, "Shall we design something new?" So keep the interest up in the brand name. Never mind the technique, but the brand name. And they've gone, "Nah, let's just enjoy the money." And they've done it again. And they just, I mean, when did that come out? It was 2-3 years ago now.
What the
air
airwave?
thingy.
Yeah, the rolling wave at me thing.
That was it last year or just the end of 24? I got invited to the launch.
Yeah.
And they sent me all the stuff through, and I looked at it and went, nah. I've got better things to do, really. Anything that makes a keyboard player take his hands off, or her hands, off the keyboard, for me...
Yeah, I mean, I can see why they did it, because, I mean, it works well with the little Lumi and the blocks. It's not going to work with the Rise 1 and 2, which were their core customers, because you can already do it without taking your hands off. So that market was going to be limited anyway. And it's no new products, no ideas, nothing's come out. They've been just doing like some companies do, which is just, this product's doing all right.
Yeah.
We'll just push it and push it.
There was a flurry of activity when the Airwave launched, and they kind of tried to sell it to different markets. They tried to sell it to, I remember seeing who's the guy that does the Cubase and the Yamaha demos, Don Segalis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he was doing this demo and he's waving his hands and he's getting all excited about it, and I can see how that was appealing. But I'm thinking, you're a keyboard player, and this thing is requiring you to remove your hands. I'm sure you can develop a technique, but it kind of like, you wouldn't ask a guitar player to kind of take their hands away from the strings. Same with this. But then they tried to sell the educational aspect. So you set one of these things up with the keyboard with the lights and everything on it. And I thought, no, that's not a bad idea, because it's now seeing your hands in relation to the keyboard, and it's seeing what you're doing, and therefore, with a bit of software technology on your laptop or your iPad, it can correct you, and it can guide you, and it can teach you. I don't know. I mean, Scott, you do teaching work and stuff. Did any of that ever appeal to you?
I had the Rolly piano on order.
Okay.
And it was on order for 8.5 months.
Jesus.
And they never fulfilled it, and I cancelled the order in the end, because they'd actually taken my money and sat on my money for... I'm kind of glad I did now, because it wasn't that long ago. And what it basically boiled down to, after quite a few conversations with them, is because I was only buying the Rolly piano on its own, they then released this Airwave thing, and they were trying to fulfill all the piano / Airwave orders together. So even people that had ordered the piano before were getting pushed to the back of the queue so they could fulfill orders that had just been placed like that week. It was just madness. And I went, if this is the way you're running your business, I'm out. Thank you very much. But which was a shame, because I thought the Rolly piano was a really good idea. I thought that was, especially for learning and things like that. It was more, I was just needing it to try and get a full-size key bed, more or less, but one that would fit on my desk better. That was the reason I was going for that. But I wasn't going for the Airwave. I'm kind of with you on that, Rob. It's something that makes you take your hands off the keys is a bit odd, But for someone learning, I could get that, because it can correct them and things like that. But yeah. So my experience with Rolly wasn't that great, to be honest.
When we reviewed briefly some months back that Airwave thing, Airwave, that's it, whatever it's called, with a set of presets to work with the new Yamaha montage.
Yes.
Right? And I saw this and was going, can anybody smell desperation? Because it was sort of like, this is a product that never had to be anywhere near that product. These are two products that did not need to be in the same room with each other directly. And it's sort of like, yeah, let's push it with this, we'll push it, let's just try and get sales. And not bringing out anything new.
No. I mean, if you compare what Roley's done to what I suppose the nearest comparable thing is the Osmos.
Yeah.
Expressive E are always talking and demonstrating and doing little things, but enough, I think, to keep the Osmos in people's minds and eyes and ears. Yeah. And we've had the Osmos Synth now. I mean, let's be honest, that had a slightly rocky start with after the Kickstarter fund and everything had completed. It was taking a long while for people. I mean, you were one of them. It was taking a long while for people to get their products that they had paid for.
Yeah.
But to their credit, they dealt with it, set up a new production facility in Poland, and are now churning these out. They added a 61 key version, and then probably 18 months after they did that, they launched the CE, which is a great solution for people who want that kind of keyboard and expression, but maybe don't want the Hacken Audio Eager Matrix engine in there.
Well, yeah,
and they can use it with anything.
Everything on the list for me was ticked.
Yeah,
No
and in between those, they introduced these software packages in conjunction with MPE synth developers, software MPE synth developers. And so you could go and buy that plugin, that third-party plugin, and generally 300 custom MPE presets for that instrument at a massively reduced price. Or if you already own the instrument, you could just buy the presets for peanuts. They've done a far better job. And I see Tom says in the comments there that they've got support from the French government, and that will bring me on to something else in a moment. But yeah, great. I mean, but let's not forget that wasn't there a picture there of one of our former prime ministers. I know we've had many in recent years, David Cameron, and then there was a bit of government involvement on our side there. So, but yeah, I mean, certainly the French government do support their businesses, whether it's in this industry or others, a lot better than most. But yeah, it's funny how Osmos has now become almost a standard for this kind of expressive keyboard technology.
Roley were dogged with all sorts of bloody different
and
problems.
they had lots of technical things.
Yeah, but
don't stand them on their ends and stuff like that.
Yeah. And sometimes I emphasise that word. Sometimes the support from Roley is absolutely atrocious. There's no right to repair with these things at all whatsoever. Sure, you're on your own. Also, one of the best bits of software that was used with the Roley was Strobe, and and it dropped it. Strobe is better than Equator in many different ways, but you couldn't use Strobe with it anymore, and there was a lot of usefulness lost from having a Roley in the studio when that went down the toilet. On the other hand, you've got the Osmos now, and they've gone, all right, let's do one without the Harken, let's give it 61 keys and everything, and let's do it in white. Good move. And it's a lovely piece of kit. I absolutely adore this thing.
I'm seeing them in so many places now. They've really done it well.
Yeah.
The rate of adoption.
The Osmos here has no dust on it. The Rise 2 does now.
Yeah.
Which is a bad sign. It's a bad sign.
What is also a bad sign is, and obviously I'm sure that nobody's considering buying any of these things at the moment, given their precarious financial situation.
Yeah, why not?
But if you go, I believe if you go to the order page, everything is out of stock. And it does say at the top there, we're currently undergoing site maintenance. I would say business maintenance would probably be a more accurate description. Andrew, I know you've bought into the Osmos ecosystem. Are you disappointed to see that Roley are going this way again?
where do I start with this? Rowley made a really, really bad mistake. Two really bad mistakes. One is they went for style over substance. Because it looked good, and it did look different, and it had an appeal initially that overcame all the issues with it, technical and otherwise, but they weren't able to deliver. The second really, really big issue they faced is that they got into bed with venture capitalists.
Yes.
There are some things which are an absolute fit for that. But if you're not an Apple, if you're not a tech firm that has a really wide audience, then you can't satisfy a VC. You can't. There's no way with the kind of marginal market that it is that they were selling into was going to support it. So they then, to satisfy their VCs, I'm assuming, they branched out into other areas, and some of them were good ideas, like Scott said. The piano thing was a good idea. And then they got into the education thing. I mean, and just looking at their pricing on that, I know the education market really well for anything to do with, and music's not a high priority, by the way. So 500 quid for one student, essentially for a year, is too much. I mean, you've got to be talking a license in the tens of pounds for a year per student, or £5 or £10, maybe £15, and that will cover it. And then you do reduce prices on the hardware on the basis that the students will then go out and buy that hardware. But there was nothing particularly unique about the hardware if it's just the piano. So I think they've just run into a whole bunch of things, and I can only imagine the board conversations where the VCs are saying, so what are you doing about? And Matey Boy that started it, he's a complete twonk, but I got to imagine he's a really good salesman, and he's been selling on the idea, and the idea is vaporware, that there's any kind of big audience, there's any kind of mainstream thing. And the big difference between these and CE is that CE have created a product that keyboard players can use straight away. It's a keyboard. You press down. If you want to get into the wibbly wobblies and whatever, you can do all sorts of stuff with it. But essentially, it gives you a keyboard that also then gets you by however little or large increments into MPE if you wish. And it's a nice, I've got to say, I love this keyboard. So it was going to be a better sell straight away. And they did all the deal, Osmos also did all the deals with the, as you said, Robbie, with the software developers. There's a lot of software out there, and it works with almost any software that recognises MPE, like without any dicking around. You can just play it like a keyboard or whatever. So I'm not surprised they've gone. And I think they have gone probably this time, unless someone can turn it around. They're too expensive. They've focused on the look. They think they're Apple. They're just too American in their business attitude, and it's just not worked. It's they're too tech, not American, too tech, and it's not worked. It's not worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think from an educational standpoint, I think the Airwave makes more sense than it does from an artist standpoint. Normally, if a technology is, if it resonates, pun intended, with musicians, you'll see it adopted widely. You'll see it on TV. You'll see it in music videos. You'll see it across YouTube. People using it, and you see that a lot with the Osmos. You just don't see anything with the Rowley stuff. Just
not for a while. And you were right also. There's been so many people using the CE. They launching the CE the Osmos with a Harken audio engine in it was a good idea. I didn't particularly like it, but it was a complete thing. And then once everyone understood what it was doing and started using it with other things, they dropped this, 2-3 years later they dropped the CE at exactly the right time, exactly the time MPE was becoming a conversation starter, and people are really beginning to support it mainstream a bit more now. So I think it's the perfect instrument at the perfect time. Osmo's got it right, and they don't have VC.
No, that we know of. Anyway, it's French government. Talking of Osmos CE, subscribers to our channel will know that we released a few interview videos from Superbooth this year, and one of those was with Christopher and a guy called Tomaz, and Tomaz did this amazing demo for us. He also won, I think, Sonic State's demo of the show, He's just done a great video with Jack over at Anderton's. It's about half an hour long. But if you want to see somebody using an MPE expressive keyboard, i.e. the Osmo CE, in a way that will blow your mind, go over and check Anderton's channel if you haven't already, and watch Jack. The way Jack sits there and looks at Tom, as you can see, he's falling in love with him. He's such a nice guy, but he's also so sickeningly talented. He plays this thing so amazingly well. And the funny thing is that when we interviewed him, he'd only had access to the Osmo CE and that Control E platform for about 2 days. And he's just banging out this stuff. It's incredible. It's really good stuff. So, yeah, shame about Rowley. I mean, we don't know what the outcome is. We're just reporting on a report from the Times, Sunday Times newspaper here in the UK, that they are struggling. They might turn things round, and they might find some more money and carry on and do things. But history is not in their favour.
Well, if they
we're
do
currently
go down,
undergoing. Sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, if they do go down, my Rowley Seaboard, the big girl, I can put on reverb as vintage rare.
Vintage, yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Anyway, that's the news about Rowley. Fingers crossed we might have something more positive to report on at some point.
Just to sort of round this off, if they have gone, or whether or not, I think they probably have, but if they haven't, whether they have, they started something which was the idea of using a more keyboard style instrument, which was picked up by Osmos and a few others, and that was something good they did.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we do have some viewer music coming up a little bit later on, so do stay tuned for that. It's a nice long one as well, as the actress said to the bishop. But let's talk about this. I have a video clip, but I'm going to play it, but it is kind of a bit long, so I will stop it a little short. Let me just find it's that long that it wouldn't upload natively into our system, so I've got to run it off of my desktop. So fingers crossed this will work well. This is new from a company called ReFX. I'm assuming that's how they pronounce their name. It's a physically modelled and subtractive synthesizer called Rippler, and here's some sounds from that instrument. Let's bring this up on the screen, and there we go. So we can talk over this one. So it uses physical modelling and subtractive synthesis. So it can do all of the sort of classic synthy stuff, but it can also do more organic stuff. Full MPE support, micro tuning, you can also sidechain audio into the resonators as well. It's funny how a lot of these modern synths now seem to take what Pigments has done visually and then just kind of moved it around a little bit and changed the colours.
Yeah.
But I think it goes to show how good Pigments is and how well it's been adopted. Let's bring up this here, and we can take that away and add this to the stage. So it has 12 acoustic models: string, drumhead, beam, djembe, squared, vibraphone, bell, marimba, membrane, open tube, plate, and a closed tube. And it currently costs just $99 US, down from 129. So it's an introductory price. Doesn't say when that runs out, but you can also trial it free for 30 days just by signing up for an account. I mean, I think this sounds great. It doesn't sound hugely different to a lot of things that are already out there, but it looks nice. It plays nice. It sounds nice. Any thoughts on this one, Scott, from a sound design perspective?
Yeah, it looks good. The only re-effects thing that I got, or re-effects, it was them that done the, what the hell is it called now?
Nexus?
Nexus, yeah. And I got as far as 2 with Nexus, but when they moved to 3, I kind of let I didn't bother upgrading with it. It was a little bit too romplery for me, but this is a bit more in depth, and yeah, you could get your teeth into that one and create some cracking sounds, I would imagine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it could be quite good fun. I think you could come up with some. Yeah, like the sounds they're letting you hear there. It's like you say, Rob. It doesn't sound that much different from anything else that you're hearing, but the fact that they've got these acoustic modelling sort of algorithms in there that you can use, yeah, I think you could come away with some really. And is that MPE compatible as well? Does it
is
say?
full MPE support, apparently.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That would be pretty cool. That might be on a hit list for me, actually, that one.
I heard somebody refer to it as kind of like, to use one of Kent's phrases, chromophone with boobs.
What?
So it's got all of that lovely kind of physical modelling stuff, but it's also got a whole bunch of subtractive synthesis in there as well. So you can combine the two and come up with some really cool things, which you can
sort of
clearly
hybrid kind of sound.
Yeah. It's it is nice. Andrew, any thoughts on this one?
I mean, if there was nothing else on the market, I'd certainly be looking at this. I suppose the fact that it's acoustic modelling, resonator, it looks like it's perhaps easier and better thought out than some in terms of how you get to grips with it. It's missing in its resonators, it's missing gingerbread man and croissant. But I mean, but putting that to one side, it looks like it could be a good thing, and it says you can bring audio in from outside to excite the resonator. So I'm still kind of, it's a crowded marketplace. Is it at the right price to tempt me in? And I think the answer is I can go and do a trial for 30 days and see if it appeals.
Yeah. Always good.
Yeah.
Always good. Kent, any thoughts on this one?
Pretty much the same as Andrew. I think I'd give it a try and see what it's like. But it's like so many of these things now. With the stuff I've got, so much of the ground is covered, and so I'd try her out and see if is there anything there that it's going to give me that I haven't really got access to now.
It's
you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just another basic VST. It's like, okay.
The user interface looks very sort of straightforward. It doesn't look overly.
It's not cluttered.
Some of these VSTs that have got so much going on. Yeah, that cleans the world.
There is a trend, isn't there? I've noticed in recent plugins for this kind of modular design. Box for this and a box for that and a box for that, and it all kind of interconnects nicely on a visual level. And also this. I mean, I thought we'd moved far away from the skeuomorphic kind of. This is meant to look like a real piece of hardware. They've kind of blended the two there. It's a very kind of flat design, but the knobs have got some depth to them, so that it does kind of look like you could grab them and stuff. So it's from a design perspective,
they pop out enough so you can see them rather than just being flat. And that's good. That is good.
But there does seem. I mean, every time I look at a new synth nowadays, I keep that looks very Pigments like. Pigment seems to have really set a trend.
I don't know, because Equator was out well before Pigments.
I'm not familiar with Equator, so I couldn't
Equator looks. Put it this way, Pigments looks like Equator.
Right. Okay. Oh
so,
well.
I don't know. I think it's not a question of design influence. More, this is the only sensible way of laying it out.
Yeah.
It's more of a necessity than a.
The art form has been refined.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah.
It's quick and easy on the eye, isn't it? When things are color coded like that, you know exactly what knob is doing what. It's just
Although
very
I have
quick
to
to
say,
identify.
I don't know whether it's because my computer does live in dark mode. I prefer dark mode for a lot of things, but this maybe is a little too dark. I don't know. Maybe some lightness in there would be. Maybe it's just my old eyes. I don't know. But other than that, it looks and sounds great.
New glasses.
And I'll definitely be giving it a try a little bit later on. So cool. That's Riplet from refx.com. It's currently $99 US on offer as an introductory offer, and goes up to $129. We don't know when that happens, but you do get a free 30-day trial chucked in there. I'm just gonna. Let's see if we can get to the top of the hour, and then we'll do our viewer music, and then we'll dig into the whole Isla electronic stuff, which I know there's probably a bunch of people that came over from watching Brad's little video earlier today, and we've got some good stuff for you. So if you're an Isla Electronics fan, if you're looking to buy something from Isla Electronics, or just to see what they've been up to, I say they, I mean Brad, then do stay tuned, because we'll be covering that afterwards, after the 8 o'clock or the 1 hour halfway mark. I just wanted to say, do you remember we spoke about this last week, which is the M-Wave FM1? It's a little 12 voice polyphonic version of Yamaha's DX7 engine inside this little pocket sized battery operated box, which has got so much on it. I paid £55 for this, brand new, and it's got Bluetooth, MIDI, 12 voice polyphonic. It's got a multi effects engine and a filter in there as well. It's stunning. Just got an update today to version 15, I think they call it, which gives you, do you remember, I think I said last week, when you were incrementing through like the reverb level, instead of going 1 2 3 4 5 6, it was going 10 20 30 40, and there was no resolution, or no real resolution at all. That's been changed, so now everything goes up in increments of 1, so that's much nicer. You can get a much more controlled effort over there. You've got glide in here, different forms of glide that you can move between, and there's a whole bunch of other improvements as well, free. So you just go to the website, download the installer, and it tells you that it needs a new firmware, and you just go, and it's there. Seeing loads of these popping up all over the place. So I thoroughly recommend it. But it's just had an update, and it's a cool little thing.
What is that called, Rob? Did you say?
It's called the M-Wave, so M-VAVE FM1. And you'll need to go to AliExpress or possibly Temu, I think. But I got mine from AliExpress, and there's 6 different colours or colour combinations. And the prices vary, depends on who's selling it. But it's around, you're looking to spend maybe £50 to £80 on one of those. I do believe Juno.co.uk are going to be stocking them, but the last time I looked, they didn't have any in stock. They were saying coming soon.
Weren't they doing it for something like $49.99?
But they didn't have any in. So,
and I've been looking at it since last week, and I've seriously been thinking, once I get the new bits and pieces in here, the shelving, 2 of those gives me the DX5 that I have to say I miss. I miss the sound of the DX5, but I can have a DX5 by having 2 of them doing the Bluetooth MIDI thing. That just strikes me as being a gorgeous thing to do. Yeah,
and as Wags has pointed out, this and a number of other sub £100 synths appeared on Florian's Bad Gear today. So it's an interesting video. He collects together a whole bunch of sub £100 instruments and runs through them. So yeah, that made an appearance. I'm staggered by what you get for your money. It's just incredible. The fact that I can just turn this on, it connects straight away and to my Bluetooth, and I'm playing and messing around. It sounds great when you stick it through the monitor, and of course it's got a built-in speaker, so if you want to annoy the wife on the sofa, you can do so as well. All good stuff.
Is it mono or stereo out, Rob?
Stereo out.
Is it? Wow.
Yep. Yeah. So This is the Toto sound set that they did on the little cartridge many years ago. So they're all Toto sounds programmed by Steve Bakar and Dave Page.
For the DX1?
For the DX7.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was messing around. And there was, because we also spoke about that third party
Editor,
or not
librarian.
editor, the librarian, which is this thing, which is super easy to use, and it's just better than doing SysX. So yeah, it's a very good tool, that. But yeah, go and watch last week's show. They've got all the information about that. Rob, you can actually annoy the wife from anywhere. You just need to buy my simple course. Indeed, yes. It's an uncanny trick. Anyway, there we go. That's MVAVE has just got an update today. Thank you to Ixorb, aka Steve Sims, for alerting me to that this morning. Right, let's do some viewer music. That'll take us across the hour threshold. So if you want to share your music with us on the show, you're more than welcome to, as long as there's no copyright issues, either in the audio or the visuals that must accompany it. And the visuals don't have to be anything spectacular. They just need to have something to put on the screen rather than just a wall of black. You can send your submissions in to me at rob@prosynthnetwork.com, or you can upload put a link for me to download in the viewers music channel on our Discord server. So Probes took advantage of that straight away as soon as I put it up the other day, and so he will have the honor of being the first to be played after submitting to the Discord channel. This track is called Sleuth. It's apparently a work in progress, and it's by Probe. So sit back and enjoy this one.
I echo mechanics who should be washing cars in a garage. We will not let this pass.
Good. Well done. Thank you very much indeed, Pros. You sent 2 tracks, so we'll play another one maybe another time. But that was I really enjoyed that. Very good.
Very good.
Lots of good stuff in the chat. So if you too want to submit some music for us to listen to and play on the show, doesn't cost you anything, as long as there's nothing that's going to trip us up from a copyright perspective, then send it in to rob@prosynthnetwork.com, or you can upload or link to it in the viewers music channel on our Discord server. So good way of doing that. And I believe Steve has offered within that Discord channel to list a whole bunch of tools that you can use to put visuals to your music. That was the VLC visualizer, which is, VLC is obviously a free audio program. Looked very Winamp. Do you remember Winamp?
Yeah,
we used to have a little visualizer in that. It reminded me very much of that. It's probably the same sort of thing. But yeah, so do that, and we'd love to hear it. We've had some great submissions so far, and we want to hear more. So please do send it in. Before we get on to the whole Isla Electronics thing, I do need to mention this, which is, if you came to Synth Southwest this year, which is coming back in April next year in Dawlish, you will remember, hopefully, I don't think how you could forget, Bang Bang Clang performed for us during the day in the main sort of hall, and they put on a brilliant show of some excellent cover versions of 80s electronic classics. It's Ian and Andy, so Ian does the vocals and guitars and Andy's vocals and keys, and they were really, really very, very good indeed. So they asked us if we wouldn't mind giving a plug to an upcoming show that they've got on the 22nd of August. It's in about 3 weeks' time. And I hope I pronounced this right. Yelpton Community Centre. If you don't know where Yelpton is, I can show you on a map. So it's kind of... where are we? I've lost it again. There's Plimpton and Plymouth. And then Yelpton is just to the east, the southeast of Plymouth. Just down there, look. Down on the south coast. To give you an idea, just keep an eye sort of just there. There's Yelmpton. And as we zoom out on the United Kingdom, you see it's right down there in the West Country. But if you are in that neck of the woods, then you can go and see them at Yelmpton Community Centre. And if you want to go, tickets are available. They're £9 in advance or a tenner on the door. So you can go to the Bang Bang Clang website and then click on the link and it will take you to this ticket ordering page. However, if you are in the area and would like to go free of charge, we have 3 pairs of tickets to give away. So if you are in the area and you want to go to Bang Bang Clang, email me at rob@prosynthnetwork.com and say, yes, please, I want to go and see Bang Bang Clang. And the first 3 people that I receive in my inbox will get the tickets. As simple as that. There's no competition, there's no contest, just the first 3. I apologise in advance if you are disappointed by not being the first 3, but the first 3 will get tickets. And I'm reliably informed by a local of the area, it's Yelmpton. Is that no E is pronounced, so it's Yelmpton. They're weird down that part of the world.
Yarmpton.
Yeah, well, even the taxis are combine harvesters, aren't they?
Yarp.
Anyway, trackers.
Says the guy who wears skirts.
Oh, that's fighting talk. Yeah. So anyway,
wait till this
Bang Bang
show's
Clang.
over, you're getting it, Spong.
Hey, laddie.
22nd of August, 7:30 p.m. It's like a one-off show they're doing. It's not a private thing. It's not part of anything else. There is no bar apparently, but you can bring your own drink. There'll be soft drinks available, but if you want to bring a bottle of wine or a 4-pack of lager, start a fight, it's entirely up to you. It's all there. So have some of that in your Saturday night on the 22nd of August. Go and fill your boots. And say, if you want free tickets, the first 3 people to email me, rob@prosynthnetwork.com, will get those tickets. If you don't hear back from me, you haven't won. It's as simple as that, because I can't be answering everybody. Thank you, Steve, for putting the link in the chat. So if you want to buy tickets, then you can do that there. Right, I think it's time we talked Isla Electronics, or as they used to be known, Isla Instruments. Let's do this, and we'll do let's get rid of that, and Caladan. This is a new thing that's coming from Isla Electronics. We've spoken about it lots. It's going to be a kind of a multi-platform. Well, it's a single platform that will host multiple synth plugins, like hardware plugins and software plugins. And you can pre-order yours now for £1,249. It's kind of an extension of a project that happened a few years ago and kind of fell by the wayside, and Brad came in and bought up the IP and has further developed it. So each one of these cards that you see here will do different things. For example, this one is a dual OPL3 FM voice card, and you can add these cards into your machine. Now then, you'll also see on the website there that there are different plug-in synthesizers listed here. And just recently, Brad posted a little video that teased something new, and we've been very fortunate in that Brad has given us permission to show and talk about not just one but also another one for the first time. So this is what Brad was alluding to in his video earlier this week. So let me and I've got to do this, got to make sure this works. And knowing my luck, it won't. So I need to bring in this screen here and bring in this instrument here. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what is known as ASICS, ASICS. Of course, we all know what ASICS refers to, because the Andromeda A6 was so called because it used ASIC chips, ASIC chips. I don't know why I'm having to explain this. I'm sure you all know this very, very well. But this is a fully operational Andromeda A6 running in software. And it's fully operational. And it works really, really well. And I know myself and Andrew, we've been very lucky to have been testing this for a little while. And there's a few other people on board who've got deep knowledge of this instrument. I hold my hands up. I've barely touched one of these in real life. So I'm just kind of going through and just checking that knobs and things work. And then if they don't, I'm referring to manuals and stuff. But this is the ASIC. Now, you might be wondering, hang on a minute, where are all the envelopes? Well, they're tucked away nicely over here. So what is, I mean, you know, the A6 hardware was quite a complex and interesting looking interface. So Brad's done a good job there of tucking away some of these things under tabs and stuff. The ribbon's there. The ribbon works. We're able to kind of flick through a whole bunch of presets. The effects are all working. Some of the amplitude levels of some of the patches are a little quiet. Brad's got to level a whole bunch of things out there, but it's fully operational and it works and it sounds really, really nice. And we've been playing around with this for a little while. Andrew, what are your thoughts on this?
Being as I'm on Windows, we've had a few little issues, but the sound is astonishing. He's done such a good job. The filtering on it is amazing. The oscillators just sound huge and wide and glorious. And this is something people have been asking for ages. You remember back for when we were doing the Doorless show, the Synth Southwest, David Bessel was hoping to come along and he had to cancel at the last minute because his Andromeda went weird and he relied on it for an awful lot of things. That's suddenly an option with this on a Lappy. It would work. Sounds amazing. He's done a really good job and he's not finished with it yet, is he?
Oh no. There's still a way to go, but you know, we're reporting stuff as and when we find it, and he's fixing it pretty quickly. Let's not forget that this is Brad and Brad alone that is doing this. He lost his developers. He's doing all of this himself. And you might think, well, hang on a minute, this is for Caladan, but Caladan's like a box. It doesn't have a big, you know, screen or display on it. And this is the beauty of it. So this is intended to run inside, you know, the Caladan box, but the Caladan box has an HDMI output. So you can plug a monitor in, and if you do that, you get the display, you get the interface. So you can have a hardware unit with this full graphic interface, and yet, you know, everything, you can still operate the whole Caladan thing from the box, but if you want the graphic interface, it's there as well. Of course, one of the first things that was asked of Brad when he sort of teased this earlier this week was, oh, is this going to be a plugin? And the good news is that he has every intention of making this a plugin as well, a general VST/AU plugin. So what it's running in at the moment is a development environment that we have access to. And there's all the factory presets are there, and there's some other bits and bobs. And I think, because I'm not massively familiar with the A6, but I am told by those who are, Dave Bessel for one, is that it's not so much about the oscillators and the filters. The power of the A6 is in the modulation, that you can modulate almost everything with anything, and it becomes an incredibly powerful tool. Remember, you know, the A6 was, I suppose, the torchbearer for analog synthesis when analog synthesis was really, you know, just nowhere to be seen. And it's this, you know, kind of rich blend of it's a hybrid blend of, you know, analog and, you know, lots of digital control in there as well. It was a pretty impressive instrument. However, as Kent will probably attest, and I'm going to ask him, these can also become the hardware versions, the original hardware versions, can become expensive doorstops, simply because of the custom DSP. Yes,
mostly because of that. Yeah,
yeah.
They have the the Alesis A6 lockup,
Right.
which is tells the owner, oh, that's it, mate. There's another thing they suffer from, which is jitter.
Okay.
There's always getting these coming in with jitter, which is basically because the pots are quite high res digital pots, but they're not digital pots, they're analog pots, but they're read digitally. And you'll get things doing values
Oh, right. Yeah.
jittery.
Jumping, yeah.
And sometimes it can take up to, I don't know, 2 hours to find out which bleeding pot is doing it. And yeah, they're a very complex machine. Very complex machine. I think I'm probably one of the few people on the planet that knows precisely what these sound like when you throw them into an empty skip.
Yeah. But
It's a very sad sound.
Yeah.
I have to admit, because I love these machines.
It was a period of time, wasn't it? Sort of like the back end of the 90s, early noughties, where companies were coming up with incredible instruments like the A6, like the Yamaha VLs and stuff, and others besides. But they were so reliant on custom DSP technology that nobody considered that in 20 years' time, when things started to possibly go wrong, that there would be very little in the way of support. And unlike analog synths of old, where yes, parts are drying up in some areas, but it's a lot easier to repair an old analog synth than it is some of these fairly recent digital ones.
Well, it wasn't that they were hard to repair; it was just you couldn't get the ICs.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
it
was
was just that kind of problem. But I mean, the A6 was probably, as far as I know, I can't think of any other machine at the moment, but there is probably a couple. But it was one of those machines where it had the same programmable facility of what you would have got if you had VCS3. Kind of that kind of level of anything to anything, give it a go, see what it sounds like kind of scenario.
And actually, it always reminded me of the EMU analog modular with with the way the modulation worked and the fact you could go poly with that as well. This did something. Yeah, this was a bit of a wooder. Yeah, I remember seeing it in Frankfurt. I think just astonishing.
But yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic sounding instrument. And I'm told by there are some people in the test that are saying, he's nailed it. Obviously, we're not able to kind of discuss how he's done it, but he's done it really, really well.
I think it's more a question of being thankful he has.
Yes.
Because now people can have access to an A6.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
and one that hopefully won't fail.
Well, exactly.
Well, you don't have to worry about jitter. You turning on the plug-in one morning and it just saying Alesis A6 and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the screens were prone to go as well on these as well.
They would go weak. Yeah, the backlight would go on them.
Yeah,
but if you got that, because every time you turn it on, you get Alesis A6 would open out onto the screen, and you go cool, right? That. And if it was like a nanosecond longer than usual, you used to go, oh, it's okay, it's fired up.
It's such a shame because Alesis have designed over the years some amazing synthesizers and other pieces of music technology, but certainly with their synthesizers, they're almost the nearly guys, aren't they? Of just there's something one step short of being utter classics, and a lot of the time it's down to either stall development or custom components going wrong. And
I think one of the reasons that they didn't take off quite as well in the synth world is just that they were known for doing budget stuff which sounded great, and there were people sort of
like the quad reverb and stuff like that.
Quad reverb, but a bit like Ensoniq with the EF, the ESQ ones, and that. It's kind of, how can that be any good? these guys did the same, but when they launched their synth, they didn't just launch this is just...
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
I think they were unlucky in many ways, because when they did launch it, there was a peak in the sort of competition.
Yeah, there was.
Of different machines, and it kind of got, it's an overlooked classic kind of.
Same
It was, and it was
Fusion.
very expensive. It was very
Yeah, she's about
expensive.
3,900, wasn't it?
Yeah,
About
she wasn't
3,900, something like that.
Yeah.
But it was the same with the Fusion. The Fusion was this amazingly capable workstation, but it suffered from some poor hardware, as in UI design. It looked like something had been ripped off the Starship Enterprise in 1960 something. It didn't sit right, and they put all the sounds in the wrong places, as in it just you couldn't flick through and find a whole bunch of really great sounds. You had to really kind of dig through this horrible menu system. It had some bugs, and then by the time they'd fixed everything, everyone had moved on, and they were trying to enter a marketplace that was severely dominated already by Korg and Roland and Yamaha, and the perception of Alesis as competing on the same level was probably just not there. But it's very strange. But so that's A6, and if you want to get your hands on this, stay tuned, because we've got a very special announcement to make very shortly if you want to get a try of this. So sit tight. But the other thing that Brad alluded to in his little video that he put out earlier was that we'd have something else to announce, and we have. Ladies and gentlemen, we can present to you for the first time anywhere in the world outside of the brain of Brad Holland, which I think is it's weird but brilliant.
Rome.
Yeah, I would. I'd have his babies in a heartbeat. We can show for you the very first time the front panel for Callisto. Or Callisto.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where the
Callisto.
emphasis is, but this is
the
Callisto.
moon.
Yeah,
It's the moon. I was speaking to him earlier. Yes, the moon.
and well, I think we can all get what this is. This is a JP8000 engine that will run inside Caladan natively, and this, of course, this UI in one form or another will be exposed outside of the HDMI port of the Caladan. So this is that, and this has not been seen out in the wild at all. So what I need to do a couple of things here to make sure that I can play this. So let's just start it up, and let's just choose. I did have this all set up on a particular sound.
Yeah, I've got it.
Now I've lost it again. But was this one? No, hang on. I need to choose my MIDI input. Look at all my MIDI things here. There we go. MIDI there. There we go.
There we go.
And I had a really nice pad sound. I wanted to kind of steer away from the typical. It's lovely. It's a lovely thing, and I know that the JP8000 has had a bit of a resurgence of late.
Yeah.
This is a really it's a lovely thing, I have to say.
Gorgeous thing.
I mean, I've literally only had about an hour or so to play around with this thing. I guess you too, Andrew.
Yeah. And it just, as soon as I switched it on, I was just, what the who? And like you, I went and looked for the not trance stuff, just looking for those lush pads, etc., and some of the pluck sounds. It's got, and apparently it reads and will write to the JP8000 as well.
Yeah.
So this is it's just a gorgeous sounding thing. How's he doing this? When does he sleep?
I don't know. I don't think he does. I think he's a robot. I think he's a robot. He's weird, but we love him to bits. And these, what you're seeing here, Callisto and A6, are two of a number of projects that will all end up in the Caladan system And just to clarify, these aren't boards that you put in. These will run on the system. These are all designed to run on the system. And you can control every parameter from the Caladan's hardware interface. But you can also output the HDMI from the Caladan into a monitor or a television or whatever it is you use. One day I'm sure you'll have a socket in your Meta glasses or something. And you can have the interface on screen. So that's why we've got visual interfaces. And of course, as Brad has alluded to, there is the hope that it will become a VST stroke audio unit plugin. So you can mess around with those. Brad's doing some amazing work.
Doing some extraordinary
and he was
work.
going to come on the show, but he's got a gig. Right now, he's in the middle of a DJ gig. And guess what his hours were? 7 till 9.
Typical, huh?
Bloody typical. He was gutted, actually. But we will get him on the show. We've had him on a number of times. It's always a great show when he comes on. But I just think the whole Caladan project, it's taken its time, but he's been through the mill, this guy. He lost his developers. He decided to come back to the UK from the US and bring his entire family over as well. Set up, he's got his new studio, his new development place, and he's doing all of this. Yeah, and he's had to kind of rejig the business from the US to the UK. He's just taken in delivery of a stack of 24 S2400s, which we've got some exciting news for you. So stay tuned for that as well. And he's doing this all on his own, and yet he's churning out this stuff, and it's incredible.
The really funny thing about this is we've seen lots over the years. We've seen a number of different manufacturers, everything from the PPG right the way through, promise to deliver other hardware synths on their platform, as it were, and they've never been really that successful. This really is, and this is actually working, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I really can't. He's such a clever man. Clever man.
Any thoughts on these, Scott? Are you going to be getting Caladan?
I will take a listen to these, but judging by what you're letting us hear, it's pretty interesting. This, pretty interesting. Yeah. Even the HDMI on the back, that's such a good idea where you can just sort of whap a screen onto it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
some nice. Yes, it is great. It really is. It's a clever thing. So, I guess there's a lot of people in the chat that are absolutely itching to get their hands on this. Well, for this
what do you
weekend,
mean in the chat? There's me as well.
and me.
For those of you who are desperate to get hands on with this, and this is absolutely 100% exclusive, you can now go on to. Don't do it yet, because there are time constraints. I don't want you to waste the precious time that you have. This weekend, starting now, if you go to the website, so let me just bring the website up. Here we go. If you go to the website, at the top of the website, you'll see this web apps drop down. And if you hover over that, you can see the A6 demo and the Callisto demo. Now, when you click on those, you need to be signed in to your Isla Electronics account. So if you don't have an Isla Electronics account, you must create one and sign in, and that's how this all works. Once you've signed in, you can then access these demos for one time only for 45 minutes, and then no more. So set aside an hour, sign up if you haven't already, and then you can have a play with these, and that's an exclusive thing. So if you want to play with A6 and Callisto, go over to the Isla Electronics website, which is ilaelectronics.com, sign into your account or create an account and then sign in, then go to the web apps, and you can play with the A6 demo and the Callisto demo, just as you've seen us play with it here on the show tonight, for this weekend only. So have a go, fill your boots, get an idea of how good these things are. So, and a massive thank you to Brad for setting that up for us to give to you. But that's not all. No, I just need to clarify, sorry. Maybe not all weekend, but at least for the next 24 hours. So get in there. Probably tomorrow. He has to limit this thing because obviously there's things, you know, he doesn't want to lose his secret sauce. But these are going to be two of like many engines that you will see in Caladan. How he's going to retail and distribute those, or whether they're free to Caladan users, I don't know that at the moment. I've seen a few questions in the chat about that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, and I'm sure Brad will answer those questions if you ask him. But there is an extra bonus. I don't know how many of you were thinking of buying an S2400 today or this weekend, but if you are, would you like £200 off? Because if you do, all you've got to do is go to the website, order your S2400, and at checkout enter this exclusive code that nobody could make up. ProSynth Network. Just type in all that one word, ProSynth Network, and you will get 200 quid off. In lowercase, yeah. You will get 200 quid off an S2400, which at the moment is 1,599.99 pence. So you'll get it for 13.99. Not bad, is it? £200 off your S2400, and that code, I am told by Brad, will last to the end of this weekend. So that one does last until Sunday night. So if you want £200 off your S2400, and I do, ProSynth Network is the code you enter in when you check out. So,
and that's such a good price already, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's ridiculously good. So he's got stock in. So it's in stock for immediate shipping.
Sorry, he's got stockings.
Stocking.
He's got
stockings as well. So yeah, please do, and I'll be asking Brad to see how successful that has been. So yeah, and it is, as Droigon has pointed out, it is the end of the month, so everyone's probably just got paid.
Oh,
so there you go. But yeah, S2400, and I was flicking through his YouTube page. Do you remember when he put that video out a few years ago of him stress testing the S2400 by literally dropping it onto the floor?
Oh God!
From a height, he just went with this pained look on his face and just dropped it. Goes clunk on the floor. He picks it up, plugs it all back in, turns it on. Perfect. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's a solid piece of kit. So yeah. So not only have you had an exclusive look at the ASICS system, which is rather cool, you've also had an exclusive look. Let's just bring that back up. There we go. There's ASICS. And then you've also had an exclusive look at a first look at Callisto, which is this JP8000.
And don't forget the Caladan. That's also open for pre-order again now, by the way.
Yeah.
And you can run 8 different synths on that simultaneously, plus effects. It's a beast. It's an absolute beast.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Massive thanks to Brad, not only for including us in the testing, which is great, but also for supporting us as a channel, for bigging us up on his videos, which we're so humbled by that, but also for allowing us to show you not just ASICS running on the system, but also Callisto as well, and a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, brilliant stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Brad. Much appreciated. If you've got any questions, then send them to Brad. No, send them in to us and we'll forward them to Brad about that. But yeah, Caladan is expected this summer. I mean, I know we're kind of getting to the end of summer, but I don't think it's far away. I also know that there was a question in the chat from Droigon about the Caladan voice cards and when will they be available again to purchase. Don't have an answer to that, so you're going to have to drop that one to Brad himself. Nick has posed a very, very sensible question, one that I will be taking up with him. When will he take on the Hartmann Neuron? Because there's another, turn of the century synth that lived briefly, shone brightly, but was kind of snuffed out by custom parts and never to be heard of again.
Nick was also asking about the Fismo, but I think that's a separate VST thing. I don't think it's anything to do with this, but yeah, there is one out there.
I mean, so I was very privileged to see what Brad was working on this morning, and he obviously I can't talk about any of it, but get excited. That's all I can say. Just get excited, because it's, if you purchase a Caladan, it is going to be, it's going to be a great instrument to have. So, there we go. Talking of emulating instruments, I can't really talk about this too much because it's part of the agreement of supporting these people. But the usual suspects they've... How do I phrase this? Alex Ball put a great video out yesterday about making video game music in the 90s and how they were using Roland sound modules like the JV2080 and the 50, well, not necessarily the 5080, but he was using a 5080 because it had 2080 sounds in, but also the JVs and the JDs that Roland were doing at the time. And towards the end of the video, he, I'm sure with permission, mentioned that the Usual Suspects team, who have already delivered various software recreations of certain Waldorf synths and the JP8000 and a few other bits.
Virus as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Virus, the TIs and all that kind of stuff. That they've now worked on and created a JD990 in software. Yes. Now, all I can say is that it's currently with alpha testers. And that's all I can say. Because it's... So, if... I think the way... Well, I know the way it works with them is that if you make a donation to their cause, and it's a very small donation, but you can make it as big as you want, you will get access to the alpha versions, and you can test out early versions of it. But you have to adhere to the rules, and there are some strict rules. So that's about all I'm going to say, but they are doing some amazing work.
One thing worth mentioning about that, with all the things, if you get into any of their alphas, what they particularly want is people who have the actual hardware, so that they can A/B test it and get, just make sure that things are behaving as they should. So, it's always useful, and it's always good to give back a bit, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've supported them for a while. Yes, to get my hands on the stuff, but also, to help these people pay the bills so that they can do this very cool stuff. They do have a much improved web presence, which they've changed and updated over the years. So you can now go to theusualsuspects.io, and whereas the new instrument is not listed on there because it's in alpha, all the others are there, and there's that big button. Do that, and you can get some early access going on. But they've done some incredible work, and the way they do it is very, very clever, but worth investing in. So yeah, there we go.
Is that the Nord lead as well they've got in there?
Yep, it is indeed. The Nordly 2X3 and modular.
And you can download them for nothing, as they say. But, this is worth a $5 at least. Personally, I want to give them, I'm thinking 20 quid just to keep, because they're doing so much and they're doing a really good job with this. So,
I'm surprised. Yeah. I'm surprised that no company has come up and said to them, come on the payroll. Let's do this professionally. But maybe they haven't. Maybe they've turned them down. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, the one thing that's worth bearing in mind, though, is they do these that have to be mindful of how I say this, but essentially, they do these for people that already own the hardware.
Yeah, that's the kind of legal aspect. Yeah.
So if you've got hardware that's got a ROM in it, that you can flash firmware and all that stuff, then this will run. It gives you a copy of your machine in software.
Yeah.
So that's the disclaimer.
And they are very strict on their rules, and they have to be, because there are these legalities, and when you take on these instruments, you have to be aware that there are legal implications. Whether anything would ever happen is another matter, but there are legal implications, so we have to say that at the outset. But they do some great work, and they're blowing lots of people's minds at the moment. And I know for a fact what else is coming down the line, and it's going to be very cool. We're looking at some very interesting stuff. I think this is great because we're now finding ways of replicating. I say we, I don't mean me. The clever people in this world are finding ways of preserving these instruments in such a way as we have access to them. And I wouldn't mind paying, the going rate for a plugin for any of these, because they're so very well made. These aren't just hastily cobbled together things. These are very well designed, very well made, and incredibly accurate emulations. These
Absolutely.
are worth £100 to £200 a pop.
And as Kent was saying earlier, for any of this older hardware, especially the digital stuff, the chip-based stuff, a lot of those chips are disappearing, never to be seen again, and they're managing to copy and emulate that, not emulate, to actually recreate that code running as if it was on that original hardware. So that's saving some of the legacy that for many of us would otherwise disappear. So it's a good thing. Yeah, pay some money. Give them some.
Brad was telling me how he does what he does, and a lot of it was just like, it was like the teacher in Charlie Brown. I had no idea what he was saying. It sounded really impressive, but I had no idea. But it's very, very clever stuff. And it's...
Sounds like me. That sounded like me after a few beers, Rob.
We'll find out shortly.
Yeah.
There you go. So there you go. So Usual Suspects are cooking more great stuff, and of course, so is Brad over at Isla Electronics. Right, we've got about 15 minutes left. Let me just have a quick look through to see if we've covered everything. We've done the Bang Bang Clang. I love that name, Bang Bang Clang. What else? We've done the Roly thing. We've done that. Let me just see if anybody has emailed in for the tickets. Are we has anybody claimed tickets yet? No. So if you want free tickets to go and see Bang Bang Clang in Yampton, hopefully I've pronounced that right this time, then email me, rob@prosynthnetwork.com. We got 3 pairs of tickets for that gig. If you live down that way, I can see Matt ordering all 3 because he's about the only person I know that lives down there. And maybe Peter, although I think Peter might be busy that weekend. I think he said he couldn't go, and I can't because it's just way too far. And I won't. I don't think I'll be here. I might be here, might not. Anyway. So we've got about 10-15 minutes to spare. Andrew, you mentioned before we came on air that it's a certain technology's 30th birthday.
Oh yes. Well, it's 2 birthdays. So Roland have notified. Probably a lot of you have seen the thing now as well. It's 25 years. I think on the 4th or 5th of August. It's 25 years since Halion was launched, and
Roland.
It's also this year.
You mean
it's
Steinberg?
30 years. Steinberg, yeah. Steinberg Halion. And it's also 30 years since VST as a system and as an SDK dropped. That changed everything. It's made such a huge thing. So they're going to be doing some special offers on Halion, and they're going to be doing various different things, I think, on the web, which will show the original kinds of systems that these things ran on. But I mean, that's a how many of us could exist without either VSTs or AAX in the case of
Plugins.
Plugins. Yeah, how could we exist without plugins? And they started it all, really, didn't they?
What was your first instrument plugin?
Mine was Rebirth.
Okay, but it wasn't a plugin though, was it? No, it was a standalone.
Mm-hmm.
It was never a plugin, which was much to many people's chagrin.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
It was a standalone, and everybody we were crazing
the Moog,
Propellerhead.
the big Moog.
Arturia's Moog Modular.
Arturia's Moog Modular. I think that was my first proper one. Amazing thing.
My first one was Steinberg's. Well, they had two, didn't they, that came with Cubase VST. And it was the VB1, which was the virtual bass guitar. And there was another one that I could never remember what that was. But I bought Cubase. Up until that point, I'd been using cheap, not knockoffs or anything, but I used to use Evolution Audio, which was kind of a Steinberg thing. It was on a PC. It was made by Evolution, who I think then got swallowed up by M Audio. And I saved up my money and I ordered Cubase, the standard Cubase. And when I went into the shop to pick it up, he said, "Oh, they're bringing out a new version of it, and you're within the grace period. So when it comes out, you'll be able to upgrade for free." I was quite excited. And the version that came out was Cubase VST. Yeah. And I remember going like, "What? Software instruments? What? This is insane." Of course, my computer at the time, I mean, I know that the technology was pretty poor, but my computer at the time couldn't even handle 10 tracks on Cubase without plugins. And all of a sudden they were saying that I could plug instruments in. So I never really used them because it took ages to load, and you'd play a note and you'd go bong. So
the latency was
terrible
in the air. When you first heard the plugins, you were sort of, or I certainly was, I was kind of just, this isn't going to work. This is never going to work. It's just
felt
the latency
very much like
is
a fad, didn't it?
Yeah.
They had that polyphonic synth, didn't they? As well as the VB1, there was a polyphonic synth they had that worked.
I can't remember the names.
I think my first one was Synth.
Okay.
Synth was a huge thing.
Yeah. Still is. Still used a lot now.
Yeah. But
still used, especially in the trance kind of scene. It's used a lot for trance.
Yeah. No, Neon, says Mike.
yeah, Neon.
He's old enough to remember.
There you go, Mike. Look, there's my knee on screen.
So Mike, you need to turn your delay off. There seems to be an echo going on here.
Neon.
Neon is a polyphonic synth with two oscillators. Oh yes, there it is. Thank you, KVR. Let's see if I can bring this up on. Here we go.
My mate Lawrence Rappagioli, or Arksun, did a lot of development for that, a lot of sound development for Synth. But this is great. Yes,
Neon. So that and VB1 were I didn't go out and buy them because they came with Cubase VST as standard. It was just that here's the standard. We've got two plugins. You're going to need the best computer there is in the world at the time, which I did not have. Actually, I didn't really get into plugins properly until probably the early mid 2000s, when I eventually got a computer that was fairly powerful. I actually wrote a letter that won Letter of the Month in Future Music, arguing against software instruments, purely because I had no experience of using decent software instruments on a decent computer. So I thought, no, I much prefer hardware. Well, of course I did, because I could run it with the other stuff. But as soon as I got a system that was able to run plugins competently, it was like, oh yeah, now I get it. Now I see what all the fuss is about. Ken, what was your first plugin?
Yeah.
Apart from your life support machine and your reanimator.
I think it was probably Pro 53.
Yeah.
Fired that up and went, oh, this is bloody awful.
Yeah. It did take a while.
Reach over to my Prophet 5 and go,
well, yeah.
I think I know which one I prefer. So,
but it started out, didn't it? I mean, the urge to recreate the old in software was a very, very early.
What, like Kent?
Yeah. Yeah.
But Arturia's first plugin in 2003 was the Moog Modular.
Yeah.
It's funny when you said about you wrote a review on plugins.
Well, no, I wrote a letter arguing against their use.
Because I mean, I was tempted to write to the people who did the Pro 53 and say, no,
what the hell? Because that was Pro 53 was Native Instruments, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of like it said Prophet 5, and I go, well, none of the revs I've ever heard. So
because they did Pro 53, FM7,
yes,
Wasn't there another one?
I think there was.
FM7 was good.
Yeah, but then
It was.
it wasn't emulating analog, was it? Which was
No.
obviously quite difficult to do competently.
When did Massive come out?
Oh.
Oh, later, wasn't it? Much later.
Yeah, I
was
think
around
Massive
about
was
the
sort
late
of
2000s.
late 90s, early 2000s, I think, Andrew. Massive, I
Yeah.
think.
I think I actually poo-pooed plugins for a long time.
I mean, I did purely because I couldn't. I just didn't have a
Ruminate.
computer that was capable of running
Yeah.
multiple plugins.
Well,
I
I,
was
I
the same.
only,
one,
I only
one
realised
decent
their,
plugin.
their potential when I got my Oasis.
Mm.
And I go, this is software. There's no VCOs in this in the usual sense, and it's all software. And I'm listening to this thing going, okay, yes.
Do you remember
I'm
Giga
getting it.
Sampler?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus, do I?
Yeah.
I used to have a fantastic piano on Giga Sampler.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
What was the software that was it fired up? It was a window. It was just a list of instruments, and it was all like double bass, cello, violins.
Oh, you mean the Edirol?
Edirol.
the
Yeah,
Edirol,
Edirol, yeah.
orchestral thing.
Edirol
Yeah.
orchestral.
I
Yeah.
actually really got on.
I
with
had-
that.
People didn't look at, there was a knob on it for each instrument which you could turn to get different variations on the thing.
Yeah, the GS
Some of those
Yeah.
some of those variations were astonishing.
It was
They were
essentially
raw
the same. It was
stripes.
sound canvas technology, but in software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my one of my first instruments was the sound canvas module, and I remember seeing that thinking, oh, now it's in a plugin. I don't need to worry about the hardware. But again, fell up against power or CPU problems, and that's one of the reasons I ended up becoming such a Reason fan, was because Reason, in its own sandboxed environment as it was, with its own kind of native plugins, were they? With its own bloody instruments and effects, was incredibly CPU friendly, because it was
for all that it was doing, it was great.
But you couldn't use plugins with it, but you didn't necessarily need to, because you had all of the instruments that were in there, and if you wanted to expand, you could buy samples that would run in the samplers, the NNXT and the NN19.
And you could get it to sync with other doors. There was
there was
ways
the
of making it to
rewire
sync.
thing, which again, Propellerhead and Steinberg, actually, Propellerhead wouldn't have done probably as well as they had without Steinberg kind of pushing them
Integrating the
along.
rewire into Cubase,
absolutely.
Mind you, I
HD
used to do-
Substances mentioned Absinthe as well. That was another fantastic
early on,
plugin. But it was very CPU hungry.
Yeah.
If
But the
you
new
didn't have a
version-
computer that could cope with it, it was just
I hung back for years with I say years, in terms of me buying gear, months. The sound banks and samples into the AWE
Yeah.
expanded,
Yeah.
so it gets as much RAM in that little bugger as you can, kind of thing. And then when the 64 came out, bang, have that in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I mean, sound fonts were a real...
Yeah, when it was
Boom.
bangs, if you went on the Wearers sites, it would bangs.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, yes, thank
I've
you.
got
thank
But
you.
some
there was a
sound
massive
font stuff.
community of sound
Yeah.
font developers that would
Yeah.
take samples and create legitimate sound font banks
Yeah,
that ran lovely in your sound blasters.
yeah, very little CPU usage.
Yeah.
Very little, and that was the thing, because they were shrunk down to such tiny amounts, each of the samples, and they did very clever looping with it. It meant you could transport. That was the thing which came from EMU, from the sound designers at EMU, Tim Schwartz and Janice, all those people, just made the best sample banks, and they took up no room on
Yeah,
your computer. So you
was
could
the
with
same with-
16 gigs or whatever, or 8 gigs of RAM, you could run just ridiculous amounts.
It was the same with Steve Howell at Akai. He used to call
he
it,
was brilliant.
he used to call it bonsai sampling.
Yeah.
And he knew exactly where to, he'd get a sample that might be 2 megabytes, and he knew exactly where to chop off 7/8 of this thing, and then use the synthesis elements of the sampler to give you your reverb tail and what have you, or your sustain and release sections. So you only needed this little bit, which
Tiny
of course
little bit.
was eventually how companies like Roland employed samples in the D50. It was just like the most important part of a sample is the attack portion. The rest you can,
SAS, wasn't it?
sampling and synthesis.
Yeah.
And that's how, I mean, he told me he worked on Korg, did a small keyboard. It was like a mini, it was like the engine out of one of the big workstations, but in a small, was it TR something? I can't remember. And I remember we were walking around either Earl's Court or Olympia, because we were there with Alesis, and we went, he said, oh, I want to go to the Korg stand because they've got something that I've been working on and I've not actually seen the instrument. And there it was, and he got, I don't know how many hundreds of sounds into, it was under 1 megabyte of sample RAM, and they sounded incredible. It was bonkers how good he got these things sounding in such a small footprint. And he did try and teach me some of his skills, which came to nothing. But yeah,
he and I had a lovely conversation one day when Acco released the SO1, which had one megabyte of RAM or 2 megabytes, I can't remember. And Dave Caulfield asked me if I could put a piano together. You could only do 8 multi-samples, and the only way you could do it was do an electric piano because it was duller.
Yeah.
And then you'd record it at twice the speed. So you'd pitch it up, record that, then pitch it down in the SO1 to get the length, and then you know that was the only way you could do it. And you could sort of get a sort of electric piano into the SO1 by doing that. Just the things, the little tiny loops we used to do.
Very clever things. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if you just said to somebody 30 years ago that that plugins would be where they are today. I mean, we've seen, today some incredible examples of what people are doing with plugin technology. 30 years ago, if you just said to me when I opened up Cubase VST and tried to load in VB1 and went, and you said, no, don't worry, 30 years time, you'll be able to do like all of this. You can say, yeah, sling your up, mate. No, it's never going to happen, but here we are.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, really, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, so many of the instruments, even the hardware instruments. I mean, this thing, I mean, that's almost certainly just running a plug-in type
computer
technology.
Yeah.
Inside there. Actually, we spoke about this last week when we were talking about that, and I said I have no idea what's inside that. Tom,
and you were going to take it apart, or did you not?
Well, I did think about it, but Tom from Synth Anatomy, who kind of turned me on to this whole thing, published or sent me a link. I think it was him. I'm sure it was. And let me just bring up where is it there? And we'll do that. Somebody has reverse engineered the entire thing, and it's running on a Jai Lee AC791N system on a chip processor. Which apparently, when you research that, is being used like on everything that is coming out of China in terms of musical instruments, system on a chip. So yeah, there's I don't know if you can see the link to that. It's on GitHub.
32-bit RISC.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
The only thing that worried me about that little box was, available on Temu and AliExpress. I'm going, God, not Temu.
I thought the same thing, but Robbie, say what happened with AliExpress when you ordered it from them.
Well, it was just a very simple process, and it was cheap and affordable. And I generally thought, maybe I'm going to get a cardboard box with a cardboard cutout of this thing.
Was the photograph of a GS1?
Yeah,
for £55. Yeah.
But the entire sale process felt completely legitimate, and it all went through known approved systems. I mean, I think I paid via PayPal, so I kind of had that security as well. But at every step they're saying, if we don't deliver by this time, we'll refund you this, and if you don't deliver, we'll give you a credit for this. And so there were lots of reassurance on there. And then eventually I got a shipping notice, I got a tracking number, and it was brilliant. And then it just turned up one day in this little box with a little plastic bag around it, and it was there, and it was fine. That's the first time. Obviously, AliExpress is a marketplace, so you're buying from somebody else through their system. So who knows? I mean, I think a lot of these services have got a bit of a bum rap because it's there are people out there trying to rip you off. And I was watching a video the other day of somebody who bought a a Dodge Ram from Temu or something like that.
No.
And it was a fully functioning car, but it was hilarious what
An eighth
they
of the
actually came in the
eighth of
box.
the
No, it was a
size or
full sized.
something.
Well, I say full size. It was you can sit in it and drive it, but it's not a Dodge Ram.
So not like that video the guy bought the Bugatti,
Oh, that one, yeah,
where it's just a plastic model.
Yes,
the size
exactly,
Of, the size
yeah.
of a Bugatti.
yeah. But yeah, there
But
was a
here's
bad
the thing:
rep there.
all of these courier companies or merchanting sites, online merchanting sites like Alibaba, they're no worse now than eBay because they've had to get good.
Yeah,
Because commercially, if a market ceases to trust you, you don't do any business there. So they've had to ramp it up.
yeah.
I think they're probably as good as anywhere else now.
And also,
Temu's not.
Steve Sims, who goes under the name of Ixorb in the chat, he ordered 3 because he wasn't sure which colour he'd like, apparently. But he bought them from somebody selling them on eBay. Like I don't know whether it was a Chinese seller on eBay or whether it was a more local based seller. So you can still get them elsewhere. But I've not heard any horror stories about anyone not getting one. I mean, why would you not? So.
No, I've been
Yeah.
bitten on before.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly, lots of people have.
I'm still sitting here waiting for my 6 foot tall Saturn V rocket that launched and it lit up with all the smoke and everything like that.
Yeah,
Looked
never.
brilliant in the photograph. Nothing.
Get Fiona to build it, 3D print it.
I had an Airfix kit that stood about that tall once back in.
Oh
back
yeah,
in the
no, I had one.
70s.
Yeah, I had one of them as well. But this was exactly well. The photo thing was absolutely gorgeous, and the price was very competitive, and I should have known fucking better. Basically,
Oh, Keith's FM1 arrived today. Apparently, I hope he bought the orange one. I'd be very disappointed if he didn't. But yeah,
this orange.
Anyway, we've gone over.
I'm sure our listeners have got other places to be. You've got things to do.
Indeed. So let me just repeat for you. Obviously, we saw the wonderful Isla Electronics front ends to Callisto and ASICs. So I hope you've enjoyed those exclusive looks. And if you want to try them, as I said before, you can go to the Isla Electronics website. First thing you need to do is sign up for an account if you don't already have one. So here's the page. You go to sign in, and if you haven't got an account, you can create an account right there. It's free of charge, doesn't cost you anything. Once you've got that, you can then go to this tab at the top here called Web Apps. There's an A6 demo and a Callisto demo. It runs in your browser. It's not a plug-in, so it'll just run straight in your browser. As you saw us demonstrating here, you just choose your MIDI controller. It doesn't. I don't think they work on Safari yet. So Firefox, Chrome. I'm imagining Microsoft's Edge browser will probably work as well, but Chrome definitely works. And you'll have maybe 24 hours to play around with those, but you get one go at it for 45 minutes across this next 24 hours. So time it and have a go, have a play.
On each one.
On each one, I believe, yes.
Yeah.
So that will give you an idea. And then if you are looking to buy an S2400 today, then or over this weekend, Brad has been incredibly generous and given us a discount of £200. And all you've got to do is enter, all one word, all lowercase, ProSynth Network in the voucher code thing when you check out, and you get £200 off your S2400 this weekend. So massive thank you once again to the wonderful Brad Holland, who is doing amazing
See, if that
work.
was me, I'm Scottish, it would have been £2.
There you go.
Would we have
Caladan,
fought over it and created copper wire?
Caladan sounds like a Scottish word, doesn't it?
It does, actually.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll give you a discount for that.
probably because of Caledonian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah, copper wire, Andrew, was invented by two fifers fighting over a 1 pence piece.
Ah, that's what it was, yeah.
Anyway, on that note, don't forget, if you want to have your music played on the show, send it in to us either at rob@prosynthnetwork.com, or you can upload it to the Viewers Music channel on our Discord server. If you want your free tickets, there are 3 pairs of free tickets to Bang Bang Clang, playing in Yarmpton Community Centre near Plymouth. We've got 3 pairs of free tickets for August the 22nd. So email rob@prosynthnetwork.com, and the first 3 emails will get the free tickets. And there we go. That's a show. Thank you ever so much. We will see you same time, same place next week. And have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. See you soon. Hang on a minute. I've got to do this. There we go. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.